analysis. Like you can add images, video, text as per your requirement. Next, we have an important and essential term that we called a tag. So now generally tag that we represent into the starting and closing bracket, and that in between we write down our specific that tag information's name. Now generally tag where we represent into the opening as well as the closing tag. So now how we represent the closing tag? The closing tag that we represent using of the forward slash, and it not essential all tag. It's required the closing tag where we have learned a few tag where they have to only opening tag. It's not essential to require that a closing tag also. Now we also use the concept of nested tag. So now the meaning of a nested tag, it means inside the tag you can write down the another tag as well as it's affected the both tag effect. Like for example, you can see the here we write down the I tag. So that is the meaning of a italic font, and H1 that is the meaning of a heading. Next, that is the essential structure for the web page where you can see the necessary requirement for the HTML programming that we have a head, sorry, HTML head starting, closing, and body tag. So these are the essential and structure of a HTML whenever you make a simple HTML program, or we can say simple HTML script. Then we also learn title tag. The title tag that is used for the determine a specific ranking of the that search engine, as well as it's a represent that a page meaning. Like we take example of a login page. So if you meaning of login page, that is you have to provide a user ID and password. Same way to we have a registrations page, home page, product page, a different card, that services, contact us. So that based on the title, the user can easily identify the that a page meaning. Next, we have a heading. Now in a heading where we have to allocate it H1 to H7. So now H1 that is represented as a font size larger, H2 again smaller, H3 again smaller, up to H7. Next we have align. It means we usually refer like some news website where they have to represent some headline as a center. So you can use align as a center, right hand side as well as the left hand side. But whatever your default font, it's starting from the left hand side. So it's not necessary to requirement align left. So you can set align like a center or a left hand side as per the your requirement. And next today we start the tag that is a text formatting. Now before we just go through again last lecture tag and that output. Now that is the first and simple program that we see in our last lecture. So now you can see the we use H1, H2 and H3. So you can easily by forget that size H1 is larger, H2 again smaller, and H3 again a smaller. Now, as I said, also you can apply a line like center. Now you can see change into the output whatever H1 font that represent into the center, because I have set align as a center. Now same way to, like, if you do H2 for right hand side, so that also you can do it. Now you can see the change in output H2 which it's represent into the left hand, sorry, right hand side, because I've set a line that is right hand side. So that all take we learn in our last lecture. So it is a quick revisions. Now till any query, heading tag as well as the align. Okay, I get a message. No, sir. Good. So let's we move to our current today's take. So now today we learn text formatting tag. Text formatting, it means like we see in a few websites where they have to represent some font into the bold, some font into the italic, underline, or we can say a paragraph, as well as you can break the specific line also. So that things also you can applicable. So now, for example, if you represent the font into the bold, so you have to use a tag that we called a B. So that is the meaning of the bold. Next, you have the tag that we called I. So that is a represent as a italic, where a slightly angle down for the specific font. So that we called italic. Then we have a next U. So that is the meaning of the underline. For example, if you represent some font through a underline, so you can use a tag that we called a U for the underline. Next, we have a tag that we called a paragraph. So like, for example, if you break, if you represent the complete the sentence, and that you have to represent into the paragraph form in a new line, so you can use a P tag for a paragraph. And like if you break out a line where you have to represent some specific point, so you can use a BR tag for the break the specific line. So meaning of BR that we call a break the line. So these are the tag that we know as a text formatting. B for bold, I for italic, U for underline, P for paragraph, and BR for the break the line. So let's we go through that output, how it's look like. Now you can see the difference in output. The first line, this is where you could include text, image on your web page. And then after, this is my first program. So it's highlighted as a bold. And you can see the regular font they have represent into the normal. It's clearly represent. If I apply a B tag in between whatever informations I have write down, that all information it's represent as a bold. You can see the clearly difference. It's visible. Okay, thank you for your reference. Now next where we have italic. Now you can see last line. This is my first program. They have slightly a right angle down, so that we called a italic. So you can easily see the difference between regular font, bold font, as well as the your italic font also. Now next where we have underline. Now you can see last line. This is my first program. They have to represent as a underline because I have to apply a tag that we called a U. That means U for the underline. Now next we have a tag that we T for a paragraph. Now you can see the difference. Line that start from the second line. It's not a continue from my first line because the meaning of paragraph, okay, your previous line it's completed and now you represent into the next line. So that's why whatever you write down into the p tag, so it's always a start from the fresh new line. So that is the meaning of a p where we represent as a paragraph. So now next and last remaining take that is a BR. Now for example, you can see the first line output. This where you would include text, image on your web page. This is my first program, this is my first program, and this is my first program. Now if I represent a bold into the new line, italic into the new line, and underline into the new line, it can be a look like a great or we can say good representations or good output. So that's why we have one tag that we called a BR. If I write down the BR before the B tag, it means bold tag. That means after the BR, whatever sentence I have start, so that represent into the next line. It means that they have to break the line. And it's represent into the new line. So let's we check output. Now you can see the clearly. Previously, that all represent with the one line. And now the starting from the bold letter, it's represent into the next line. So it is the meaning of a BR, break the line. Now anyone tell me if I have to represent italic font into the new line. Now tell me which tag I have to use. Again I repeat the questions. My italic font that I have to represent into the new line. Now tell me which tag I have to use. Give your answer in chat box. Yes, I received the two answer. One from Aryan, BR tag before italic. One from another students. Jalwant also BR good, and also Meet say BR tag. So yes, student, your answer is correct. So before the italic, I have to write down a BR. So it can be a break into the new line. Yes, before the yes, Rakesh also correct answer. Before the italic, we have to write BR tag. Good student. Quick response. Now you can see the output. Italic font which represent into the new line. So that is the meaning of a BR, break the line. Again, same, I have to represent whatever underline font. Again, I have write down the BR, and again I have to refresh. So now you can see it's again represent into the new line. Now again, for example, its font are too small. Now, for example, I have increased the font size. Like here, I write down H1. Like here, I write down H2. I write down H3. And let's we check for the output. Yes, you can see it's applicable. The first bold line, it's represented to the H1. Next italic line, it's represented to the H2. And remaining line, underline as well as the paragraph, both represent into the H3. So there is again look like a good output. So you can use also a head tag. Yes, I received one message that I accepted. Aryan have questions and tag. Now you can see the my code. I am not write down the ending tag of H1, H2 or H3 any. So as I said, okay, it's not essential. We have a many tag where it's not a compulsory to require that a closing tag, because here in HTML5, if you start the H1 tag, if you not close the H1 tag, and if you start the another heading tag, it means it's by default assume your H1 tag it can be a over, and new heading tag it can be a start. Now again same, we start the H2, but we not close and directly we start the H3. That means it's assume the H2 tag it's a over. And now you can see the last, I have start H3 tag, but I am not close. So you can see the last whatever write down before the after the H3 tag, that all you can see the represent as a H3 heading. So that is the things. I am not until the close, and whatever information I have write down here, that all informations represent into the H3 tag. Once I have closed, for example, here I have to close H3. Last, it's a represent a paragraph into the your actual size. You can see the difference directly. And if I'm not close the H3, so whatever in a paragraph tag, that also by default represent into the H3 tag. I hope now you understand ending tag. There is a one question from Neil. सर इसमें BR tag use नहीं करेंगे तो चलेगा ना tag? Yes, if you not use a BR tag and if you use a heading tag, so it's by default start from the new line. For example, if I remove that also and also, and let's we go for output. You can see all line it start from the new, because the heading, that is the meaning where you have to start into the new line. It's not a requirement for the BR tag. Good observations. So now any query in a text formatting tag, bold, italic, underline, paragraph and BR. Yes, it's a very basic tag. Now next we have a tag that we called a font tag. Now in a font tag we have three attribute. One attribute that we called a face, so where we write down that a font style, okay, where that you have to specific apply. Now second attribute that we called a size. The where also you can set a font size based on your requirement, and where n that is the number, you can write down 1 to 7. The one that is represent is a lower size, and 7 that is representation is a higher size. That means if you represent 2, so again increase, 3 again increase, and 7 again increase. So that is a font take. Now in again a font take, so you can apply a color trigger. It is if you change the font color, so that also you can easily do it. So now representation of the color, where we have a two method. You can directly write down that a color name also, as well as you can also go through the hexadecimal representation of that color. Now in hexadecimal, they have to represent RGB method. R for red, G for green, and B for the blue. So that three color combinations they have to represent. Now in hexadecimal, you have to represent a six digit, either like a 0 to 9, or you can say alphabet A to F. And that combinations based on the RGB color, it can be a represent. But as a first year, I would suggest to you directly just go through the color name instead of the hexadecimal representation. There is a one questions. What will be the difference between H1 size and font 1 size? Okay, that we see H1 that is a larger, and you can go through the font 1 size, so it's too small because there is a vice versa. In a heading, if you go through H1 to H7, so it can be a decreasing order. But in a font size, you go through font size 1 to 7, so that represent into the increasing order. And one more question, sir, in first year, we only have to learn HTML only, or Java, C++ also? In a first year, as a workshop subject, you just learn a basic HTML tag. But when you move to a second semester, so there you have one subject, PPS, programming for problem solving, where you can learn a C language. In a first year, you will only learn one language that we called a C language, and then after the third semester, you learn a different language where we call a Java, C++, object oriented, .NET, Python, and many more. So don't worry, the just first year you have to learn all subject, and then after the third semester you only learn your branch specific subject. So now, as I said, we have three attribute in a font. The one, font size, where you mention 1 to 7. Then a font face, that we represent a font style, like we take an example, Times New Roman, Arial, Calibri. So based on your requirement, you can set your font style also, as well as you can set your color based on your requirement also. So let's we go for that example. Now you can see I have write down a font size 4, face courier, color green, and again it's essential to require a closing tag. Now you can change output. So you can see the whatever I have write down in between the font tag, that represent into the green color, and size it can be a increase compared to a regular font. So that is the tag font where you apply a three attribute, one for size, next for face, and then after next for the color. So now, as I said, if you represent a size 1, it's a too small. Now you just see the output. It's a too small size. If you apply a H1, so that is not used in regular website. But if you directly go through the 7, which is represent as a large size. Now you can see the output. This is my first program. That is the larger size in a font. Now one questions, sir, it has to be a same size, order, face, color, or in any other order? First color after the face. You can arrange your order. It's not a requirement. You can first go through a color, then you go through a size, and then directly you go through also a font face. There is no any specific sequence. It's a require. There is one questions. What mean a courier in this font tag? Okay, that I will explain. Courier, that is a font face. So we just go through that real-time example. I think one font console is visible, and Times New Roman might be all of you can heard name that. So that is the font Times New Roman. If you set here, you can write down the here Times New Roman as per the your requirement. Same way too, if you like require a Verdana font, so that also you can set it. And common, that is a real, that also you can require, that also you can set it. So that is the requirement for the font phase. Same way to Calibri, you can set it as per the your requirement. You can use any font name as a font face. I hope you get the answer, Neil. We check for the Times New Roman. Okay, it's not supported. Maybe whatever font that install in your system, it can be supported by the font tag, and it also applicable for which version of HTML that also you can use it. So now any query in a font face or font tag. We also go through RGB method. You can see the color, it can be a change. 6 time if I represent the FFFF, so it's represent as a light blue color. And same way to like if you go through a 1111, so maybe it can be represent as a black color. So it's a light dark black something. So that is the method that we called a RGB. The first two letter is red combination, then next to a green, and then next to it's a blue. But as I suggest, directly you have to write a color name so that it can be a applicable instead of that method. Let's we have one more attribute in a body. You can also apply your background color. So now a meaning of a BG, that is a background color, where you can set as per your requirement of the any background color. So that is one attribute which applicable for the body tag. So now here in a body tag, I have write down BG color. Now you can see the entire background which represent into the green color. So as per the requirement, you can also set your background color also. Now you can see now it's look like a good out because I have changed the font color as well as the background color. So now as per your requirement, you can set it and make your own simple web page design also easily. So let's we have one simulations. No, there will be no any exam for HTML, but end of the semester where we have 80 mark of Viva weightage. So based on that, we have divided 20 mark for the computer subject, where I have generally end of the semester ask regarding a basic HTML tag. There is no any written exam for a computer workshop subject. As we discussed in orientations, we have a total 100 mark of weightage. In this 20 mark where we have a lab manual and 80 mark for the end semester Viva, and 20 mark lab manual that also as per the department subject faculty explain it. And in our next lab, we discuss about a lab manual, how you can represent that all take also. So there will be no any written exam for a workshop subject. So let's we go through some simulations where you can do your practical. Also, it's not a requirement if you have a laptop, and then you can make your own HTML practice. If you have one smartphone, you have to just open any browser in your mobile phone. Then you have to open Google. Now in a Google, you have to just search a W3 school is HTML. Now again I repeat, it's not essential requirement for the HTML programming practice. You have a one laptop, then and then you can do it. If you have a smartphone, so you can just open any browser which install in your mobile. Just search Google in a W3 school space HTML. Then now you just click on the first link, W3 school HTML tutorial. Then you have to click on HTML basic. Now if you click on HTML basic, and then you can do for a scroll down, so you just get one a button, try it yourself. It's visible, the button try it yourself. So now you just click on try it yourself. So it's open that screen. So now you can see the in screen left hand side part. So that is represent as a notepad file where you have to write a HTML tag. Then you have to just click on the run button, and whatever output it's represent here, you can say a right hand side. That means in a mobile also you can do it your practice. It's not essential requirement you have a laptop and then you can do it. So within a mobile you can easily do it. So let's we just go through that a demo, and that we called a editor, online editor, which provided that a platform. Now we can see I will just click on the run button. That's output of H1, H2, as well as the paragraph. It can be easily represent. Now same way to, for example, if you go through a today's take that we learn for as a practice, you can use a bold take, I, underline, N, U, and I. And now click on the run. So now you can see the output, bold line, italic, as well as the underline, it can be a represent. So that is the easy to, you can use HTML tag, as well as you can do it your practice also. So now I just request to all student, just go through that website and try 2 days that we take learn, while parallelly I just take the attendance, and again we start for our remaining take. No one can put your element number in chat box. Now check your name with your date 24. I put a present. Just only two students are absent. One is a Bhavisa and one for a Savan. Is there any student name is remaining in your attendance? Just verify it. Just check the list and your name and date P for a present. Please not focus on your admission or just check for your attendance only, whether a present or not. Okay, again I repeat, two student is absent and remaining all are present. So let's again we continue our remaining take. Now next we have a take that we called a link. Now where we use a link take, it means when you have to redirect one web page to another web page. So at that time you can use a link take where you can open a specific web page as per your requirement. Now, for example, if I click on the login page, it's a redirect to a login page. If I click on registration page, it's a redirect to a registration page also. So at that time, you can use a link tag. So that is the example. You use a meaning for the anchor tag, and href. So now full form of href, that is a hypertext reference, where we have to provide it a reference of specific page where we have to open it, and that is for the page.html. It means whatever page you have to open, that page path you have to provide it. Now make sure that whatever file you have to open it, that file as well as your actual file should be located into the same location. If you are not provided a location, a same for the both file, so you have to provide it your entire path also. Now that is a example. For example, I have opened like a Marwar University website, and that I have to create a link. Then I have to write down https www.marwaruniversity.ac.in, and then I represent one link button. Same way to if you click for the GTU, you can apply for the again GTU website. So let's just we go through that demo how it can be open for the specific link. Sir, what mean a full form of A? A mean that is a anchor tag. Meaning of A that is for the anchor tag. Like here I have declared A is equal to, like I have to open dot home.html page. Now I have take like a home page. So that is we called a label where you have to represent it. And if a user click on the home page here, it's a redirect to a home.html page. Okay, background is not visible. Hmm. Now you can see at last there is a one home page button. It can be created. Now if you just scroll on a regular phone, and then if you just click on the home page, so there is a link. So that's why your cursor, it can be a change, because there are a regular font. But if you go through the home page, so that I have put a link, and now I have click on the home page. So now you can see it's open my home page where whatever content I have to set it. So that is the example where you can apply your a tag for the anchor, where you have to create a specific link for the specific web page where you have to open it. Again I repeat, a tag which is applicable for the specific page where you have to open it, and you can make multiple pages also as per the your requirement. Okay, now you can see the output. I have created a 3 page, one for the home page, login, and contact us. So like for example, if you make a menu like home page, login, contact us, so you can, that type of menu you can easily create it. If I click on home, so it's redirect my home page, whatever reference I have provided. Same way to I click on a login page, I redirect to login. Same way to I click on contact us, so it's directly redirect to contact us. It means this type of the link you can easily create your navigation path, or as per the your requirement you can create your web page also. There is a one questions. Sir, anchor tag mean text formatting tag हो सकता है ना? No, Neil. Anchor tag that you can use for the HTML, where you can beginning as well as the end of the hyperlink where you have to provide data. For example, if you visited the specific link, at that time you can use it, because if you provided some hyperlink, so that we called a anchor tag. So that is the use of the a tag, where you can create a list of that button. For example, click on the login, so it's a redirect to login page. Then I click on contact, it's a redirect to contact, because right now I have just only created a one page, that's why I write down the same link. But for example, like make a login.html page, so you can easily do it. Now you can see, but login page that have not created, so that's why they have said okay, you have not found because it's required to create a first page, and then you have to provide it a path. Now the next and important task, that we have to insert the image into the web page, okay, where we mostly see without image maybe not represent any web page, because we have to represent some images into the website. You can use a image tag. So now image tag which start from the img, the short form of image, then src, that is the source for the file, okay, where we have to upload into the our web page, and then that a specific image name you have to write down. Again same thing, image if put into the same location of your file, you can directly write down that file name. And for example, if you take an image on another path, so you have to provide it your entire path here, then after the file name. And also you have to mention extension, whether it's a jpg file, png file, or any image supported extension, that also you have to write down. So that is the use of image tag. Okay, that is my simple program. Now before the insert the image, we have to require that image file, and that we check also, okay, whether it's represent into the same domain, or sorry, a same location or not. So that is my HTML page, a basic tag. Now you can see I have download a few image also, where some GTU logo as well as Marwari Education and Marwari University logo. Now for example, I have insert like that a file, a GTU logo 1. So also I have to check that which extension. So now you can see I just go through property, and that is the file extension, it's a png. That means I have to require file name, then dot that extension also. So you have to again whatever file required, that you have to check first of all extension as well as that file name, and both should be located into the same folder. So here I write down image src is equal to a file name. GTU logo 1 dot a png, and let's we have to refresh. So now you can see whatever logo image, it can be a applicable, it can be easily visible in a websites. There is one question, sir, when will you upload this PPT? Today by end of the day, I will upload a PPT. So through a e-content, you can easily access it. Don't worry regarding a file content. So now you can clearly see I have write down image src and file name. So image logo, it can be easily visible. And for example, my file it's represent into the another folder, so I have to write down here a entire path of that file. But mostly we do, okay, whatever we save HTML file, same location we save that file also. So now till tag that we learn in lectures, any query, formatting tag, font tag, anchor tag, as well as the image tag. Now again, image tag, we have many two property, width and height, that we also see in upcoming lecture, where we have to reset our images as well as that reset also size. For example, if you represent here as a logo, so you can small that size as per the your requirement. Again, if you represent the image into left hand side, like a right hand side corner, so as per that all attribute that we see in our next lab session. Don't worry, we also have a property of a image tag. And also end of the day, I will upload the PPT in your e-content. So you can easily access that PPT. So now, thank you, student. You can leave the meeting. We completed our lectures. There is a one question, sir. Can we use a script app in place of the Notepad? Yes, you can use any script applications, but you have to use a simple text only that are supported by the that application instead of the Notepad file. You can also use Notepad++, Microsoft Visual Studio Editor, even also Code Block Editor. You can also use it. And I already take the attendance. Don't worry, only just 2 student is absent.